we talk, recording now, as we talk about something really important for the health and well-being of residents here in Licking County and really everywhere. I want to give just a brief backstory in one of the ways that I became aware of the importance of this issue around hygiene. In 2020, I know it seems like 100 years ago, but it was just yesterday when we started to experience COVID, and we all changed our lives upside down, and people were being laid off of their jobs. We became acutely aware of the immediate crisis, obviously, in so many ways with COVID. But one of the ways that we became intimately aware of the needs was around the area of hygiene. Early on, the Licking County Foundation and United Way put together a fund, a COVID relief fund, to start addressing the needs. And we started listening to what those issues and what those needs might be. And we also convened from the very first week in 2020, every Monday morning at 7 o'clock, starting with about 60 people every week. We had a meeting with community leaders around the county on that. What are you hearing? What's your need? What can we do? How do we, join hands together and address this? So we immediately went to work providing funds before federal dollars were on the scene, before state dollars were on the scene. It was local dollars quickly garnered and right back out into the hands of programs and organizations that needed it the most. And in those conversations, we started hearing about how difficult it was financially for those who are struggling the most to pay for the basics, right? Their rent, their food, and hygiene. So we got a $300,000 grant quickly early on, outside of the COVID relief grant that the foundation and United Way worked on together to provide hygiene to every school district across the county. We identified the free and reduced lunch numbers that we had in the county going into 2020. And with that $300,000, we purchased laundry detergent, feminine hygiene, deodorant, soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes, those kinds of items. They were delivered by semi-trucks. And we were able to use the warehouse over at Indian Mound Mall. Sears had closed up, and we had, stacks 15 feet high of hygiene filled. And it was so moving. I particularly remember one very cold day. We were just in Newark here, and we were in every school district. Every school district. On an early Saturday morning, sleety, rainy weather, and the cars were lined up literally for like a quarter of a mile down the street. So they would drive through, we had a tent, the rain was pouring, and they were waiting to get a bag. And sometimes the whole family was loaded in cars of laundry detergent, feminine hygiene, bars of soap. And I think that spoke volumes, that when people are struggling, especially when there's a crisis or there's inflation going on like we're experiencing now, that it's not just food that's the high ticket items at the supermarket. When you go through at that checkout counter and you have to make those hard decisions, well, some of those decisions are, I'm not going to wash my clothes as frequently. Or if I have a daughter, she can stay home from school those few days of the month. Or deodorant. If I just, air out and spray some Lysol on my feet, good. Well, folks, that's a part of hygiene. Brushing our teeth, regularly bathing, washing our clothes, and hygiene is essential to the health of every person, not just the food we eat, but hygiene is essential. So I wanted to let you know a little bit about that history, how we've got here. United Way also, has worked with some other groups, as we've collected hygiene over the years. There are Women's United groups, at some of our events. And we are going to be doing a lot more of that, and you're going to hear about that a little bit later. Today, though, we wanted to bring together a panel of people, though, who see firsthand, how important hygiene is in providing for the clients or the people that they're working with, and you'll hear from them. We've got three wonderful panelists today, all of them that I've known for quite a long time, and each of them are remarkable. This so happens to be all women up here, but each of them are remarkable women in the areas that they work with. Courtney Lichtenauer is a guidance counselor at Licking Valley School District. I've known Courtney. My husband teaches at Licking Valley. My kids went to Licking Valley. And the things that she's able to do and the ways that she works with the students is remarkable out there. Our school guidance counselors see firsthand the needs in our schools. So we're so happy to have you, Courtney. Patricia, I call her Trish, Gary, is with OhioCAN, but also Trish religiously, in a very committed way, every week shows up on Saturday mornings to provide for the basic needs of our unsheltered population and those who are struggling to make ends meet. Not all of them are unsheltered, some are just having a difficult time, but Trish is there to meet those needs. She goes out her way to even beyond Saturday mornings, delivering food to people that have to be temporarily put up in a hotel. I hear about her escapades at least 4 times a week in many ways. And then Trish Hufford. Trish, I don't know what we'd do without you and the work that you have done in our community with New Beginnings, domestic violence shelter. Certainly when people have to flee, last thing on their mind is, am I taking my hygiene kit, packing up my shampoo, my conditioner, and my toothbrush and toothpaste to flee. So you do so much for our community, so thank you. With that, again, I want to welcome you. I am leaving this morning to go to another meeting. Corey's going to take over from this point on. And we thank you for showing up and supporting those who need your support the most in our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Deb. As all of us know, in the nonprofit world, we often have to wear a lot of hats and do a lot of things, and so it's just part of life and nonprofits. You have to be able to pivot. All right, so I, like Deb, I'm honored to know all of our panelists. They are doing really incredible work in the community. Before we get started, I do want to just take a minute. We have a very special day here today. Everyone could join me in celebrating Courtney's birthday today. Wishing her a happy birthday. So we are honored that you would share this day with us today. All right, so our panelists have been provided a set of pre-written questions that we're going to go through today. After the questioning period, I'm really excited that we're going to get to hear from Llewellyn Deeds about a super exciting, very special project that we've been working on at United Way. She's put a lot of work into it, and it relates to the topic today. After that, we will have the opportunity to answer any questions that you have. So throughout the course of the day, you should see there are a few slips of paper in the middle of your tables, some that say questions for the speaker. So if you have a question throughout the presentation, write it down. We'll come along and collect it at the end, and then we will have some time to give those questions to our panelists.
Okay.
I hope you're prepared. You're solo.
All night last
All right. So before we really dive into the questions, let's start off with some introductions. If you could, please share which organization you're representing today and the type of work that you do, especially in relation to today's topic.
Okay. There you go. All right.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tricia Hufford. I am the director for the Center for New Beginnings Domestic Violence Sheltering Services here in Licking County. We are a program of the Woodlands serving Central Ohio. I think this will be my 27th year, at the Center for New Beginnings. Started out as a case manager in 1998 and have been in the capacity of that or the director ever since. So, just an introduction? Is that what you want?
Talk about some of what you do.
Okay, well, our program clearly serves victims of domestic violence and their children. And I will add in here that we do serve adult women and adult males as well in our shelter. And then the children, if they have children, come with them if we have the space and they meet the criteria. So basically, very much what Deb said earlier, when you're leaving a domestic violence situation, sometimes the last thing on your mind are hygiene products. So we very much make sure, before everything else that we do with our individuals, our clients, more than anything else, we are stocked and provided and able to provide them with all the hygiene products, clothing, basic needs, towels, bedding, all of those things. So that's just a part of our program. So it's very implemented into what we do as far as being able to serve our individuals. The first thing they need to do is to be able to be at peace with that before you can start talking to them about the crisis and what their needs are moving forward. So just real quickly, along with that, we do case management for all of our individuals. We have 2 victim advocates, we have a child advocate, and we operate 24/7. So we're always prepared to bring somebody in and be able to meet their needs if they need our services.
Hi, I'm Courtney Lichtenauer. I'm a school counselor at Licking Valley High School. This is year 19 for me. I do a lot of things in my role, but in terms of this topic, so 8 years ago, we began what we call the Panther Pantry. So there are many other organizations that help with the backpack program, but that program is K-5. And so we noticed there aren't anything in terms of services for food or hygiene products for students in middle school or high school. So we created it started off very small, and now it's quite large, the Panther Pantry. And so part of that pantry is the hygiene products and detergents and those kinds of things too. So we'll talk about that today. So that is just a tiny piece of my job. But because I deal with all of the 600 students in the high school, and then we also help the middle school pantry as well, especially in the summer. Those are the kind of like resources that we offer our families in the district as well. So we do in the summer offer options for our elementary folks as well, just because those backpacks kind of stop. They also don't provide those kinds of services in the backpacks. So we want to be as helpful as we can. I also kind of try to spearhead some of those grant writing opportunities for those things. The district can also be involved in some different grants, specifically lately post-COVID. So I try to be involved in those as well. So that's kind of my role in terms of what I do as a school counselor with this topic.
Hi, I'm Trish Perry, and I'm the co-founder of Newark Homeless Outreach, which is a project of OhioCAN. CAN stands for Change Addiction Now. We began the outreach a little over 6 years ago, and we are currently serving anywhere from 100 to 150 people in 2 hours on a Saturday. Pre-pandemic, hygiene, wasn't as big an issue as far as the cost, but we've seen a huge rise in the cost. But we serve anyone, no matter what. They can be unsheltered or just low income. We don't ask any questions. And that's what makes us unique.
All right, thank you all for those answers. So let's dive into some of the questions that we've prepared. In the wake of the pandemic, I think we all mentioned that this morning, we've seen rising prices on pretty much everything. In their March 2024 Consumer Price Index, the Bureau of Labor Statistics noticed a 4.2% increase in the average cost of personal care items over the last 12 months. This increase, coupled with the rising cost of other basic needs, has left many people feeling pinched, especially those who fall below the ALICE threshold, or those who are asset limited, income constrained, and employed, and are already struggling to make ends meet. How have you seen this cost increase affect your programs and the people that you serve?
I think post-COVID, during and even post-COVID, we saw a decrease specifically for our program in donations. So when we would normally get lots of detergent, lots of body wash, lots of shampoos, things like that, the folks in the community, I believe, were feeling those pinches and those costs and those post effects, and they were unable to make those donations, or just the simple fear of coming into a shelter facility or being in the community was something that they were choosing not to do. I think that since then, we have made up for that. There was a big increase in donations that started back again after COVID. But and I'm gonna speak on a very fortunate level here. We have a lot of community support. But there are times that we do see some things that are not necessarily hygiene, but like the over-the-counter medications, things like that, that we're seeing like the increase in costs of those things to be able to provide to our residents in our facility. For the most part, when somebody comes into our program, we are pretty stocked with items just based on donations, and we're very fortunate with that. But almost everybody that comes into our program on a daily basis, we are using the shampoo, the conditioner, the toilet paper, the toothbrush, the toothpaste, all of those things, the detergents. We provide all of those things. So it's really important for us that we continue to have a community base that continues to donate to us. We can continue to meet those needs.
I would say, so we really run a lot of our, I guess we get a lot of monetary donations. So then we, as the school staff, purchase a lot. And so if you think about maybe a couple of years ago, you could purchase a Suave shampoo for $1. That's almost $3 now. So our money isn't going as far as it was. We're getting maybe the same in donation, but we're not nearly able to purchase what we could. So that's where we're kind of struggling. Deodorant, a men's deodorant is ridiculous. It doesn't matter what brand it is, it's so expensive. It doesn't even matter what size it is. So we're still trying to purchase the same things that we need, that we know we need. Just had a student come in this morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't have deodorant and I didn't put any on. Okay, let's go get some. We've got it. You know what I mean? But, and he's going to take it with him, but like, that's a $6 deodorant. That's ridiculous. It's those kinds of things that are really, creating a barrier in terms of what we can purchase even. It doesn't matter how much in bulk we can buy it. They're still that expensive. It doesn't matter what brand it is. I mean, the Suave is typically the cheapest and it's still the most, I mean, it's gone up tremendously. So it's those kinds of things that I think are what we're struggling with. The donations, sure, like you said, you used to get quite a bit. Now we're getting 1 or 2 bottles of shampoo donated when we used to get a whole pallet from someone. So it's just, yeah, we're kind of struggling with those kinds of things.
So pre-pandemic, again, as Tricia was saying, we had a lot of donations as well. Luckily, during the pandemic, we were able to get a lot of the COVID dollars and the grants that was out there because we were one of the only people that continued to serve on Saturday. With that, we were able to make a hand sanitizer, wipes, which was time consuming, but it was the only way people could wash their hands, literally. We did not have any hand washing stations. After pandemic, we've seen a cut in donations, especially full-size products. We are completely community funded. So a lot of people who travel, a lot of different agencies here in Newark, they give us all their small size samples, and that's what we make up our hygiene kits out of, which includes shampoo, conditioner, shaving cream, a clean washcloth, and then we also have the ones for dental and for feminine hygiene. Our biggest need and the biggest cost we're seeing is the feminine hygiene products.
Okay, so you started to kind of touch on this, but if each of you are serving specific populations, sometimes they overlap, but you all kind of have a focus. Within that group that you serve, what are some of the most common items that your clients are in need of? And I know you kind of touched on this a little bit, but.
Yeah, I think I did touch on it earlier. I would say the shampoo, the conditioner, the body wash, detergent, toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper, over-the-counter medications. Those are the things that we are always in need of to be able to provide our clients with those resources.
I would have to agree with that. Deodorant is a big one. Detergent is also a very big one because we give these things to families. And that doesn't really fall under it, but it's almost household cleaning supplies as well. Those things don't really get purchased. So we try to always give those options to those families that we serve. I would even say like just soap in general. I just feel like sometimes those things aren't always given out. And some other options with what other parents say they go to, in terms of resources. So we just try to give them a variety of things, but I would definitely say detergent is probably the most expensive, and then deodorant. But then feminine hygiene products are ridiculous in terms of the cost. So they're the moms that show up to our pantry are just so excited. So.
And I agree with everything that they had to say, and as well as with the feminine hygiene, with us dealing with unsheltered populations, we have to make sure we put in some kind of hand wipes or hand sanitizer so that the women have some way of washing their hands.
Let's move on. We've kind of touched on, the next question, but let's move on. For many families, just covering the basics, such as food and shelter, is difficult enough. Finding extra money to pay for personal care products, laundry soap, diapers, or other things can feel next to impossible. What resources are available in the community, either through your programs or elsewhere that you may be aware of, for folks to obtain these pricey items?
Okay, I kind of jotted down some things that came immediately to mind. And it's really not a lot. So hopefully there's more resources out there than I'm aware of. I'm sure that there are. Wright Memorial Church, Methodist Church on Mount Vernon Road has a baby pantry. I do believe they have diapers, formula, and baby food. Of course, there's Heartbeats that if you choose to be a part of that program, they can assist with things for needs for babies or moms that are pregnant. There is a New Life baby pantry in Hebron as well. And then I'm not sure if many people in this room have heard of that. If you've heard of the Didymi program, I know that they're out in Hebron. We have been out to their facility before. You can actually become a member just like you become a member of Sam's Club or Costco. And sometimes they have free items and they will make donations. But a lot of the items that they have that we need or others need are at a fraction of the cost. And somehow they work on surplus, and I really recommend that you get on their Facebook and take a look. I know that my case manager and some staff were out there in the last couple months, and clothing was like $1 a piece that they had. So I know we've gotten over-the-counter medications. I know Gatorade, sports drinks, things like that have been very helpful. Now, sometimes you do have to pay for them, but like I said, it's at a fraction of the cost. I'm not completely aware of if 211 has a list of resources specific to hygiene, but I always, refer people to 211 if they're looking for something specific. Now, there's other programs I'm aware of that are, I want to say, I don't know, maybe they're closed programs. I do know the Yes Club has family nights, and they're gathering products to hand out to their families of the children that attend the Yes Club. I don't think that's open to the community, but I know there's a few other programs around town that help if you're involved in their services.
So we've used the Salvation Army's period pantry options before as well. So they, I'm assuming that's still running, but they've been giving us good donations that way as well. Believe it or not, though, sometimes our students we don't like the cardboard applicators as well as the plastic applicators. So that's their age, I guess, but, so that's still an option. So we tell a lot of our adult parents that as well, in terms of giving us donations. In terms of the school aspect, this year, I'm not even sure if this is happening in years to come. It's never happened in the past. They actually statewide grant option for schools to apply for period products. So it came out in August, and guess what? We just got it this month. So we stockpiled, we got a ton of product. It'll probably last us maybe 4 months in a school setting. That's okay. It's better than nothing. So we actually do have, products in our bathrooms, for students, but you'll notice they'll take enough for the whole week. I don't blame them. I would too. So they are gonna go quickly, but that's great. But I'm hoping that's a continual thing. You never know with the state of Ohio and their grant process. But we did purchase quite a bit of product for our middle school, and fourth and fifth grade even as well, but our middle school and high school. So we've got that kind of stockpiled, hoping to really make sure that goes through next year. Took us all year to get it, but that's the process of how things work with sometimes the state and processing. We've also been really, fortunate to have some parents in the fields that relate to these products. For example, I've got a mom who works in the beauty park. And so she is able to kind of get us some, I don't know if she's getting them discount, I don't know what it is, but she's giving us Bath and Body Works products that are like maybe like Christmas season, but who cares, right? And it's soap or it's like lotion or it's body wash or whatever it is. And it'll come in the droves. I mean, she'll bring us boxes. So we'll kind of sporadically give that out throughout the year. So that's been really helpful. Many of our churches have been so amazing and supportive for us. So there'll be drives on Sundays for us. We have local community members that give us money every month. And we'll tell them exactly what we've purchased with those funds. But then we also have a lot of parents that are in the dental field, so we'll ask for those little tiny, the little toothbrushes and the little mini toothpastes and flosses. So we've been lucky to kind of stay afloat that way without having to purchase some of those things. But the Salvation Army's Period Pantry has been really helpful that way with those products.
And you mentioned Didomy. Yes, it's a great organization. We are a part of that, and we're able to purchase underwear brand new for a quarter a piece. So, I go out there like every 2 weeks and stock up, because that's another item that people don't have access to, especially if they're unsheltered. And there is nowhere since, we lost the one organization, there's nowhere for people to do laundry right now. For the unsheltered, I would always send them to Salvation Army as well for their hygiene products. And then I believe the food pantry now has hygiene products.
Repeat the underwear, please.
Ditomy. Ditomi. It's off of Route 40. And you just, you can fill out the application, I believe, online, and you just show your 501c and you can become a part of it. You can go out there and shop. They encourage you to shop for yourself, because they know if you are spending money and saving money, you're putting more money back into your nonprofit. We've been working with them, and we got pallets of all kinds of stuff, like stuffing. So we cook a lot of stuffing for our Saturday meals. Like, we got a whole pallet of stuffing. Propel, we got a whole pallet of Propel. So things like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I was recently invited out to take a tour, out there, and so it was really interesting just to see everything that they have and, the prices on some things. And they had a pallet of like hand wipes that they were just, everybody who got something, you could take these hand wipes. So they're certainly, working to provide some of those products to people that need them. Aside from the cost, or the difficulty of purchasing or finding some of these products, what other barriers might prevent someone from keeping up with their personal hygiene? And how might this need impact the other areas of their life?
I love being first. Well, when I thought about this question, these are the things that came to my mind. Is there water in the home? Is the water bill been paid? Is there electricity? Is there gas, the ability to heat water? How about, do they even have access to a shower? Do they have access to the ability to wash their clothes? I mean, if you think about it, I was thinking about it last night, I can only think of 2 laundromats in this community, in our area, this community. One is on 21st Street and one is on 30th Street. Like, what access to our folks that live in this area of the eastern end of Newark or south end of Newark, what access do they have to laundry and how much does it cost? Fortunately, I don't know that, but I did have somebody work for me and I know that she would change her dollars into quarters, and I know it's gotten expensive. So the affordability and the need for cash to run the machines and run the dryers and the transportation to get back and forth to these places with two or three big loads. How are we doing that? So those are just some of the things that came to my mind. Might be able to provide all of these products, but are there natural resources in place to be able to utilize them?
I would also include mental health. So I've noticed the decline in mental health in the upkeep in terms of hygiene. So in terms of parents and students, I don't think that we kind of keep that in mind in terms of what we're thinking about our students taking care of themselves and that level of care, or their parents, that level of care as well. So I think when our mental health is, not as is in check that it maybe should be, or maybe that we're struggling with it and maybe we're going through something, or maybe someone's not kind of up on it in terms of understanding it, we're seeing a lot of that. We've got a lot of students who, that's a struggle, and that's the cleanliness and the hygiene are falling into that field as well. So I feel like that is important as well, along with those kinds of things. I've got a couple of students who'll say, well, I do wash my clothes, but our washer's like 17 years old. And I'm like, well, probably was made better 17 years ago, but, but that is true. Like they're washing it, but is it really getting washed? I don't know. Or they're not using as much detergent as they should because they're trying to be resourceful. Those kinds of things. They forgot their deodorant. So I've got a lot of students that say they look clean, but are they clean in other ways? I don't know. So there's a lot of things that kind of play into that.
And I think the same goes, like, I agree with the mental health as well. And then also we see what we find is a lot of people that are getting assistance and they're being able to get shelter at a motel. They get into the shelter at the motel, but they don't have any hygiene. There's nothing, it's not like a lot of motels, the lower ones here in our area, they don't provide all the items that someone needs, like the luxury motels do. So we do also work with 2 motels in our area, and when they bring in someone, we will go distribute hygiene products and toothpaste and feminine hygiene if they need it as well.
All right, thank you. So throughout this time, you've all mentioned some of the products that you need, some of the products that are difficult for you to source or might be particularly expensive. If people in the community want to help support your programs, what's the best way for them to do that? Is it better for them to bring products and donate them to you? Is it better to give a cash donation? Or are there other ways that folks can support the work that you're doing to provide these things to your clients?
For us, it's either way. Now, we don't have the same power as like the Food Pantry Network where we have the ability to purchase much more for the dollar. If we get the funds, we have to go out and purchase them at Walmart or whatever store that may be. But we will always take a monetary donation, make no mistake. But we also are very happy to accept in-kind donations. And just as a sidebar, those in-kind donations help us match some of our federal grants like Victims of Crime and Ohio Criminal Justice. So that's a big help for us as well. What we do personally and have done for many, many years is we keep an updated wish list. And that is available to anybody that comes in and gives donations. We have it posted on our website. So if anybody's interested in making donations, they can look that up. We publish it in an annual newsletter that goes out to the community. And we also, at our fundraising event, we put one of these on each table as well, just to spread the word out there. Hey, you may not be able to buy a purse at our annual fundraiser, but you may buy us some shampoo, and that's great, and we appreciate it. We have a lot of companies that call us. So I would encourage folks and other programs, reach out to your Owens Corning, reach out to, your different companies in the community, and just get on their list and say, hey, we want to be a part of when you give. Because a lot of these companies do amazing things. They have a jeans day. They have, a certain, month that they want to do something for a community resource or a social service agency. And they will call you and say, hey, we want to do this in October. We're recognizing Domestic Violence Awareness Month. What do you need? And so we just have this ready to email or to give to them, and they do collections. A lot of churches do this, Girl Scouts, as well as social service organizations and community groups, Kiwanis, things like that. So I really encourage you to just get your message out there that this is what we want, this is what we need, this is what we're doing. Get it on your website and people will find it.
I would say we're the same. We'll take, donations, and then monetary donations. We also have, the same kind of idea in terms of a wish list. We actually, during COVID, were asking for donations. So we asked for like the vestibule or like the entryway to be open, until like almost 10 o'clock at night, because people were just constantly wanting to bring donations. So that actually is still open, and every day I walk in, almost every day, there's a box of something sitting there waiting for us. And it might just be mac and cheese. It might be canned vegetables. It might be something, it's almost every day. And the kids just know, oh, that's for the pantry, so I pick it up and I take it in. So there's always people, willing and able to donate, and we appreciate that. So a lot of times couponers, they love this. It's like a challenge. And so we like that. And so, we'll take money, and then we can shop. So we just made a big shopping spree between Sam's Club and Walmart all in one day last month. We'll do that again, prepping for the end of the year, and then the summertime, we'll sometimes take our big sports box truck. We can get someone to drive it, we can fill it. So it just kind of depends. But yeah, so we'll take whatever we can get.
And I agree with both of them. You can always drop off supplies on Saturday between 10 and 12. Our biggest need right now is full-size items. I do want to say thank you to New Beginnings. They did donate quite a few full-size items, but we're seeing more elderly now, and more people that are just, trying to come down and get those types of items. Toilet paper, that's a huge one, and laundry soap. And when the laundry soap, the pods are better, or the small bottles, because the small bottles, the unsheltered can also carry them, and it's not a huge bottle of laundry soap to try to carry around. All donations are appreciated. You can go to our Facebook page, Newark Homeless Outreach. There's an Amazon wish list on there. We also have our annual fundraiser coming up, Steps of Change, if you want to come and support us at this event. It's on May 18th from 10 to 1 p.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So panelists, hang tight. I have a few announcements. So again, thank you all for the work that you're doing every day in the community. It's an honor to partner with you. I work with all three of these individuals in a variety of different ways in my job. And so I appreciate working with them, but also I am extremely grateful for the work that they do in the community every day, because we really would not be where we are without them. So I appreciate all of them. I do want to draw your attention to the screen. It is that time of year that we are starting to gather ideas to plan out 2025. I know it seems far, far away, but it's already, before we know it, it's going to be here. So we are working to put together our list of topics for 2025. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to a form where you can give us some suggestions. And if you would prefer not to scan the code, you can also reach out to me directly. You can put suggestions on the papers on your table. You can send me an email. You can send me a letter, whatever you want to do. And I will gladly take those suggestions because I work with a wonderful Community Partners Council committee. I think most of them are all sitting there together. Unfortunately, our chair is not able to be here this morning, but we've also, they're all over here in this kind of area of the room. So very thankful for them as well. So we are working on that, and we would love your input. I do also want to just make mention of the fact that we are accepting applications right now for our Community Impact Grant. Most of you who regularly do that are already in the know, and you've started working on those applications, but this is open to any 501c3 or other type of nonprofit organization, whether you are private or public division of government or something like that. Applications are due June 7th. at 5 p.m., so you've still got some time. For information and how to access that, you can go to our website, which is unitedwaylc.org, and find the community impact page for more info. So at this time, I would like to invite up a special guest. You probably already all know her, Llewellyn Deeds. She is our volunteer and outreach director, and she's been working on a really special project that we wanted to tell you all about because it aligns with this topic today. So while she comes up, if you've got any questions, go ahead and write those down on those papers, and I will be around to collect them. But until then, welcome, Llewellyn.
All right, tall guy, short one. Well, first off, I absolutely love hearing about all the work everyone's doing, and I've got to be engaged, actually was in on the first conversations, Ron McLeish and I at Panther Pantry, and so our church is very active in supporting that. And for those of you that need more information, Hanover Presbyterian Church, the first Thursday of the month, has a closed closet, and they hand out at least a sleeve of diapers as long as they have it. So every little community, I feel, is trying to do something. Also, Summit Station Church, Methodist Church, has bags of hope. So for any of you that may have clients or folks that you know that are out that way, Women United just give them $1,000 award to help them. They're wanting to be able to give out formula and diapers and things like that. So if you know folks that are more in that area, please send them that way. So we know that hygiene is essential to the health, mental and physical, of all folks. We also know that it's extremely expensive. I have a daughter that will call and say, "Hey, Mom, on your way home, would you?" Lord, that right? The first time she asked me for diapers, when I hadn't bought them for a long time, I did one of those. So, but not everybody has that village. And so we as a community are providing that village, both these programs here and now United Way. So we are launching this summer the Hygiene Hub. So our goal is to provide a container, like a nice big cabinet, and enough supplies per month for 4 high schools. We're going to dip our toes in gently. Our long-term goal is to have a hygiene hub or provide resources to those that already have them to every school district in Licking County. That's our long-term goal. We're very excited about it. Corey's been working really hard on getting us some money with some grants. Love Corey doing that. We are also going to be launching a unity fund. You'll hear more about that at our annual meeting. And then we're going to go to the community to ask for help. So how did we decide on this? We looked at what the need was in the community and realizing that by stocking these items, it allows a child or a student to go to school and to feel secure that I don't stink and they're not going to sit beside me, right? I'm not going to go the next 3 days to school because we don't have the resources to have what I need during my period. And we see that students are losing school time, which then makes it a little tougher for them to graduate, to get that job, to be that successful person. It's also those social skills that they need while they're in school and when they're with their community. Middle school is an ugly time. Think back, folks. It is just a difficult time, and nobody needs any other barriers during that time. So we have chosen 4 schools, and we chose them because of the ALICE numbers, and you've heard us talk about ALICE. So Newark City School, 55% of Newark City residents are part of the ALICE population. Licking Valley Schools has 2 townships. Fallsbury is 44% of the ALICE demographics, and Mary Ann Township is 52%. That's my community, and I know many people just didn't realize that because we have pockets that have these, I call them McMansions, these nice, big, beautiful homes, right? But you know, a half mile down the road is a home that's struggling to have water and other resources. North Fork, or we think of as Utica, has 2 townships, Washington 50%, and Newton 42% of their population is in the Alice demographic. And finally, Heath City Schools, 44% of Heath City residents are in the Alice demographic. So we chose these 4 schools to start off with. We will, again, provide that cabinet so that they can have supplies that the students can easily get in and get out. Lack of embarrassment, you know, and some students, it's not a big deal, and other students don't want to be seen. So we will start off by providing that, and then we'll work with our community. One of the things that we have seen, especially as I oversee Women United, is that when we have our gatherings, we say, would you bring? And they love that. They love to be told, listen, we need shampoo, or we need this. And they come forward with boxes of it. And it's wonderful because they feel like things are overwhelming, right? Where do I start? How do I help? And if you just say, I need this, they're able to pick that up and deliver it. We have found through our research that it's about $23 a month for an individual for some basic hygiene. So that's $103.50 for a student for a whole semester. That's a lot of money that isn't, and those items are not covered if you're lucky enough to have SNAP benefits or other resources. So our goal is to do that. We'll be out in the community asking. We'll have drives. We're going to have some fun with that. We're going to stuff a bus. I got to talk to my folks over at Lichtenauer Valley. I still have my CDL. So I can drive that puppy. But so we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to bring the community together. We're going to try and take that stigma away so high school students can, and middle school can feel confident about going to school, not worrying about that. And also their families can put that money toward food, rent, water, all the things that need to happen. So we're very excited about that. We'll be launching that. Yes.
Are they going to be in the schools?
They will be in the school. So I'm working with the counselors at each school, and they're going to put them in the best location that they have. They will have to report out information to us, and that's so that we can see that that is what they need. That is the need that is out there. And then also so we can go after grants. But they're going to be where a student can walk in and get, right? Newark City Schools is a lot bigger high school, so we'll have to work with that. But we've worked with each one of the counselors to say, where do you need and what do you need? And to Courtney's comment earlier is, you know, we're talking deodorant and detergent and things like that. The other big need is cleaning supplies. If we can provide trash bags, if we can provide a bottle of Lysol to go home and, you know, clean. And again, living out in that community, we talk about, well, I'm washing the best I can. We have a lot of iron. So our water is just, in some parts are really, it's really terrible, and you can't afford a softener too, right? So there's a lot of barriers there that we're going to try and help. And so cleaning supplies will also be one of those.
All right, thank you, Llewellyn. That was a tongue twister. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead and write your questions on those slips of paper. Some of them are green, some of them are white. If you have any that are completed, if you could hold those up so we can come around and collect those. And then we will go ahead and ask questions of our panelists. Llewellyn did mention grant funding, so we are extremely grateful to be able to partner with a new partner who's helping us out with these efforts, as well as some others that you might have seen in the community. I just need to give a shout out to Microsoft. They have gone above and beyond. They purchased land in our community and immediately reached out to us and said, we want to help. We want to improve lives of people in Licking County. We want to invest in their futures, and we want to invest in folks who are unsheltered, housing insecure, and might need help meeting basic needs. So they have really stepped up to the table, and they are helping us to provide a lot of the recent programmatic efforts that we've been talking about. So we're extremely grateful to them and their partnership with us at United Way. All right, so let's look at some of these questions that we've got. And if you think of anything in the meantime, you're welcome to still continue writing, hold those up. Someone will try to be around and collect those for you. So the first question that we got, this one's for Courtney. Courtney, someone asked, is the Panther Pantry open during the summer months?
Yes, so we are there through, I think like June 15th, I guess. There's someone always there. And then we come back, I think July the 18th or whatever else, there's someone there. So we try to do some pickups that are in June, July, and then August. But yes, we still provide food for families throughout the summer, especially right before fair, because our families are all going to fair and then we know they need that food. And if they're not going to fair, that's fine, but we know that that kind of comes along with that time and we try to kind of plan it so that it happens and we can have food and supplies before that.
All right, great. And this is a question for anyone who might have input on this. Are there federal or state funds that are available to provide for hygiene products?
So I mentioned the one that was this year originally put out in, I think, August. We finally got the funds this year. I'm not sure if that's continuing next year. And it honestly won't probably supply us with more than about 4 months worth of supplies, which we're thankful for anything. But that's the only thing I've ever heard of, and that was new this year. So I don't have any information that if they'll be available next year to us. But that was the only thing that I've ever heard of, so.
I believe the EFSP grant has, a stipulation in there where you can buy hygiene. We never have, we use it for meals and other foods, but I believe there's a stipulation in
No,
there.
that's right. I was just trying to think back. I'm like,
Yeah,
thinking of categories, like, which one of those?
I think there is, I don't know which part of it is, but yeah.
I think that falls under the mass shelter. If you are a shelter and you're trying to capture grant funds to cover the costs of providing services for individuals in your shelter, I think that those can be blended into that cost.
Okay. For all of you, who are providing stuff, especially we've talked a lot about feminine hygiene products. Are menstrual cups something that would be helpful to donate, or is it better to have a disposable product?
What was the question?
Are menstrual cups something that would be good to donate, or is it better if they're disposable products?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think I mean, having as an option, sure. I just don't know. I've never had anybody ask for one. So I don't know that answer, but I mean, I would offer it for sure. Yeah. Although I will say, high school students, some of them are even fearful of using tampons. Some are not. So I think it would matter who, we also then obviously send it out with parents. And so then that's a different population for us too. So then I think, sure, I don't know.
For the unsheltered population, I don't believe so. It would be pads and tampons is the best option.
Okay, all right. Trish, this one's probably going to be for you here. Are pre-made food donations needed for Saturdays? Is that something that you need, or is that, I know it's confusing. Trish, Terry, Patricia.
Yes, we do, we have a sign up genius on our Facebook page. And if you don't do Facebook, you're welcome to reach out to me. My phone number is on here. You can text me. But we have a sign up genius that we grill hot dogs every week. We have for 6+ years. That's how we started, with 2 moms and a grill. And, but we have like main dish items, side items, chips, cases of water, and desserts, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because people can take peanut butter and jelly and have them later in the day. We also give out, everybody has an option to take a non-perishable item. We strive to get pull top cans and ramen noodles, because you can heat up ramen noodles on a fire, heat up some water. So those are the big takeaways on that. But you can sign up on there or text me, and we would be glad to have any food that's available.
Sure.
if somebody was like attending a morning meeting or something like that, and they had a buffet set out and there's a fair amount left over, is it possible for shelters or other places to take that food and use it? I know we've taken it to the women's shelter after potlucks, but from a health standpoint, are there, obstacles there that we have to consider or?
I mean, I guess it would kind of depend on how long from Saturday, because we do a lot of stuff with like the American Legion. They have dinners or they have memorial services, and they will call me and I'll go over and pick it up. And if it's something that's freezable, we just freeze it. We also do food recovery from Newark City Schools. So we go there. I only have the availability to do it once a week because of my schedule, but I'll go there and pick up 150 hamburgers. And all we have to do, we freeze them, and then on Saturday or whenever we need them, we thaw them out and throw them on the grill.
So Thursday would be too far out for Saturday?
No, that would be great. And we have a full-size freezer. We have 2 refrigerators with freezers. So we have everything at the building to be able to store it and everything.
Thank
Thank you.
Sorry.
We are open 24/7, so we're 7 days a week. So we will take items from parties, from, company picnics, things like that. We will take your half-eaten graduation cake. Wedding cake. I mean, we will, and we're there. Just bring it down. There's somebody there to accept it, and we will package it up or put it in storage containers and put it out for the residents. We invite that. It really helps our food budget.
Yeah.
And I will say, oftentimes the food left over from these events, you take it to New Beginnings as well, so, just so you know where that's going. And this question, I'm going to expand, for all of you. So if someone wants to donate, whether they want to donate for a Saturday event or donate to your pantry, who would be the best person to contact, at your locations for them to do that?
Okay, anybody can be contacted at our location. Our number is on our website, on our Facebook page, 740-349-8719. All you need to do is call and say, I have a donation to make. And then a lot of people show up without even calling, but so there's always somebody there to accept your donation.
Same, you can obviously donate to me, but anybody at the high school or at the middle school, will gladly take a donation because they get them all the time.
And if you want to bring down anything on Saturday, you can just talk to, we have 11 dedicated volunteers. So you can just come down and say you have something to donate. If it's outside of Saturday, then you could reach out to me. Many people drop things off at my house. I live on 21st Street, so it's really easy. So they'll text me and they'll say, hey, I'm dropping off 5 bags of clothes or something. So yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you all. Do we have any other questions about anything that came to someone's mind? Tiffany?
Kind of goes along with that last question, the hygiene hub. Would we donate, like if we have donations for that, would it come to you guys at the United Way?
Yes, so one of the things that you'll see on our website is we actually have a volunteer hub on our website, and currently we are collecting hygiene items and wellness water bottles. And I get calls all the time, or people, we had a wonderful lady that with her little guy came in yesterday and they decided as a family to do that collection. There had to have been at least $25 in that box, but she thought this is at least something I can do. I can't, with my children, I can't go out and volunteer and do X, Y, Z. So you would connect with us. And then we'll have company-wide collections, but look for more on that. Or just give me a call. I want to look for coffee.
Yeah, Ben?
For Courtney, what's required to be the driver for your sports suit?
I don't know that. I already got that one.
Yeah, I love to know if it's a regular license.
Probably, it's just a big van.
Yeah, so.
Okay,
So, because
we'll be in touch.
Any other questions? All right, so you guys are in luck today because somehow we wrap this up in about an hour and 10 minutes. That never happens. Usually we give a lot of time because, we can go on and on and on about some of these topics for hours. So But before we do close out, I want to encourage you, if you haven't yet grabbed one of our flyers for our, Community Partners Council monthly forum schedule, they're available over there on the table. That will give you an idea of what the next topics are, what's coming up in the year. Next month in June, we will be talking about elder abuse and neglect. So a very important topic. You certainly won't want to miss that. These forums take place every month on the second Wednesday of the month from 10 a.m. to noon here at Licking County Aging Partners. We're so grateful to them and the rest of our partners that help make these events happen. It's because of our community that we're able to do the work that we do. With that, I encourage you to stick around, eat. There's a lot of food over there. Have some coffee, hang out, socialize, whatever it is you want to do. If you're tired of us, you can leave as well, and that won't offend me. But everyone, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.